Hello, and thank you so much for having me. I'm really enjoying this. I see people. This is so awesome for me. I do a lot of talks normally, and the last 2 years, nothing. Only the stupid video call thingy, and now I see people. So I'm happy already. I hope you will be as well. I have way too much slides, and the schedule is tight, so let's just start. Anybody under 15 in the room? No, good, because you might get scared of some pictures I have. If I cough, by the way, I'm a smoker, so I'm used to coughing, so don't worry, I'm fully vaccinated. We shouldn't talk about the past, but still, this was it, right? The world was closed, and I found out that the world actually was a cinema somewhere in the US, so basically it's okay. And I thought the first time I would speak ever, I would look like Paul on B-sides like this. But I'm here without a mask, so I can breathe. I'm so happy. And I'm in Sweden, where I found out on the plane that it is forbidden to be a criminal. I really love this. I really love this. I love this country so much. And I'm not from here. I will tell you where I'm from soon. But I'm Edwin. I'm 50, elderly hacker, they call me mostly. Pressed a lot of buttons when I was a kid, played with the old modems. I'm sure some of you have the same thing here, right? Downloading like 23 floppies of Windows from a BBS, and then at floppy 20, your mother picked up the phone, everything was gone. That's my age, basically. So if you recognize that, you're on with me. I did a lot of stuff on BBSs and met a lot of hackers, and basically what I always wanted to do is get those hackers in a room. So like this, and drive in a car or a washing machine or whatever, a website, and break it. And that's what we're doing with Zerocopter, that's the company I work for, but no commercial talk. You're lucky, I hate that, so don't worry, this was it. In my free time, however, I'm a member of the Guild of the Grumpy Old Hackers, you know? And we try to help kids who might go the wrong way because they found a database with credit card information to get them in the right way again, so prevent them from going to police. I'm a member of the Dutch Institute of Vulnerability Disclosure. Basically, we're scanning the whole of the Netherlands every day and look for vulnerabilities and warn companies. And I will tell you a little bit about it later. Also a member of the cavalry. Does anybody know the cavalry? Whoa, one. Okay, what we do there is try to help medical device manufacturers, automotive manufacturers to get their shit in order. And those discussions are hard. We had once a discussions with a car manufacturer. We could take over the car and we said, look, this is what we can do, fix it. And they said, nah. And we said, why wouldn't you fix it? And they said, well, if I have to fix it, I have to get millions of cars back, and that's way too expensive. And then we said, yeah, but what if we kill somebody while taking over your car? And they said, well, we just pay the deceased family. It's way cheaper. And those discussions for us are really, really hard. So if you can help in any of these, please come to me after and we will figure something out. In 2013, I got involved with the Dutch government to help responsible disclosure be a thing, or prevent hackers from getting jailed because they announced that they found something and wanted to fix it. And this was 2013, so we fought really hard and all government stuff, and it's really not much fun. And then when you get involved in stuff like this, something really scary happens. You get mails like these from the State Secretary of Security and Justice. And I was like, oh, I'm not going. And then my company was, yeah, you're going, because this could be cool. And then something really, really awesome happened. Well, awesome, terrible. I still have nightmares of this. I had to wear a suit. It's really not me, right? I hate it. Do you know Mary Mo, by the way, in the middle? If you don't, look up some YouTube videos of her. She got a pacemaker, and it wasn't programmed correctly, so she basically passed out, and after that she's hacking pacemakers, also her own pacemaker, and she talks about that, and that's really scary, really, really scary. We did this, and then in 2018, responsible disclosure got big, the US took over. Any Americans in the room? Well, thank you for that. And we call it now coordinated vulnerability disclosure, which is a lot tougher, but on the other hand, it's more broad, and so it's good. And the government still thanked me for working on this in the Netherlands, and they put me in the leaflet of coordinated vulnerability disclosure, like this. This is everywhere, around the world, laying on people's desks to discuss coordinated vulnerability. Oh, I'm like, okay, whatever. Okay, people always ask me, well, but what are you most proud of? Well, of course, this one, Darknet Diaries, you know it, right? The best podcast in the world about security. We were on there in an episode because we hacked Trump a little bit just before his elections, so we took over his Twitter account twice. So I'm proud of that. And also, anybody working with NFC cards and stuff like that here? Cool, then you know probably this. And I'm in the source code of libNFC, basically because I annoy the hell out of people while coding. But still, I made it in the source code, so I'm proud of that. So let's go to work, because this was just the intro, of course, and I'm here to just make a little bit of fun. And it was a year, right? Basically a lot of years, but we can't talk about the year before this year, so just this year. And it was drama. We had fun, of course. I mean, you guys know IKEA, right? So you also know that somebody did this. And that's fun, I think. There are still people trapped in some IKEAs. This is the stuff you have to do. Also, last year gave finally a solution to the biggest problem in the world, and I'm really happy about it. Should you do pineapple on pizza? Right? No. Right? Yes? No? No? Well, it's solved, because you can do it this way. This is one of the big things that came out from the last year. And what we all did last year was this, right? Zoom meetings. We all wave at each other. Why? Why do we do that? We never wave at each other, and now we're constantly waving at each other. And Zoom got, of course, big problems, because Zoom was hacked, and Zoom is bad, malicious software. And everybody can take it over, and nobody is safe because you use Zoom, and it's new and fresh, and blah, 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 blah. But we all here know that basically, of course, Zoom can do better, and Zoom maybe could do better, but it's this scenario that we're actually fighting every day, right? Everybody thinks, oh, you can fight the bad guys. No, we can't, because we are with way too many, and they are way too much, and they have a lot of money, and a lot of people, and a lot of time. And we can't fight that. So, of course, Zoom could do better, and they did. They did this. They did new security measures, and they took on a vulnerability disclosure policy. That means they actively worked with the community to get their stuff fixed. They made a safe harbor for hackers, which I really, really love, and I think every company should have. And I got a lot of questions of people like, oh, I'm going to use this new piece of software. Is it secure? And the only thing I say is, well, look at their pages. If they talk CVEs, if they actively disclose their security issues, then yes, they're working at least with people to fix stuff. And that is something I think you always should keep in mind. If there's no CVEs on their security pages, you know, and this stuff, this helps, and it works. And oh, what a year. This one. We had a lot of this, right, last year. And one of the biggest ones, of course, was this one. I think you got hit here with some supermarkets closed down. I read somewhere, was that here? Yes, right. Well, we could have prevented it, because this is Wietse. He's a Dutch guy. He works for the Dutch Institute for Vulnerability Disclosure, and he found 4 0 days in Kaseya software, and he reported them, and he was actively working with Kaseya to fix it. And about a week before it was fixed, this happened. And of course, there's debates, did they have the bug already? Did somebody leak the bug that was found, etc., etc.? But it would almost never have happened. And the problem for me is, if it would have never happened, this would have not gone out, because nobody talks about stuff that's going right in security. And I think we should fix that as well. It's always, oh, we got hacked. It's never, oh, we got prevented from hacking by some researcher who gave us good information. I think we should fix that. And after Kaseya, of course, or before Kaseya, this one was hit, SolarWinds. Everybody probably knows this one. What was the password? Nobody. Well, this could have been prevented very easily, because a researcher shot in a vulnerability disclosure report to SolarWinds a couple of months before everything got taken over, and this was the report. The password of the update server of SolarWinds was SolarWinds123. Brilliant. That's why criminal hackers could get in, modify stuff, push it out, and everybody had a big problem with SolarWinds. And that password, people, come on, right? Those aren't passwords, you know? Everybody's insecure, I know, but your password shouldn't be insecure. And I always do a party trick when I'm on a party or a birthday event or whatever, and I say, I know your password. And people say, no, you don't. And I say, yeah, because it starts with a capital letter. Then there are 3 or 4 or maybe 5 lowercase letters, then 2 numbers and an exclamation mark. And then everybody in the room goes, how do you know it? Well, because 80% of the passwords in the world is built up like this. Because we as security people enforce this. Your password should contain at least a capital letter, a number, and something else, right? Fix this as well, people, please, because I consider it fails. And there's more fails. There's so much fails. I could stand here probably for hours doing fails, which I'm not allowed to. But this one is also something that always hits me hard. I'm old. I did a lot of security stuff when I was young, some illegal, but there was no logging, so I'm good. Some not illegal, but I see the same bugs coming back over and over and over and over again. So with the stuff I learned like 30, 40 years ago, I can still break shit at the moment. Small quiz, and I think I get beer tickets, so the first one who knows, without Googling what this CVE is, gets a beer. Anybody? You don't know all your CVEs by head? This is weird. What a weird audience. This is a CVE which was posted in the year, you can guess that, right? 2000. So it's long, long time ago. And it was a directory traversal vulnerability, or a path traversal vulnerability. So with some slashes behind the URL, you could access stuff you weren't allowed to access. 2000. Then, why, I might ask, in 2019, Citrix got hit with the same vulnerability. The Citrix gateway, the VPN gateway, was hacked very easily by just putting stuff behind it, you know, in 2019. And I looked it up this weekend, because I sometimes look it up just for fun. At the moment, there are 988 records with the same mistake. Even yesterday, new ones came. Still the same mistake, a path traversal, which you could prevent very easily if you know a little bit about security or if you think about security. But what we do, no, at least in the Netherlands, if we train students in programming, we never talk about security. We just learn them to program, no security intent, whatever. And we're always looking for people who cost nothing, but are brilliant and allowed to work day and night. I think it's easier to become a clown at the moment, because clowns get reschooled into C programming for clowns. We should do that for kids as well, for everybody. And I think everybody should also know how a computer works. I mean, how many of you know what an IRQ is still? Good. Well, teach the people next to you also what it is. Because it's the basis of computing. If you know how a computer works, then if you program or you're looking for bugs, you can deduct way more easily where the problem might be. And you don't have to know the answer, but if you can narrow it down where it is, you can solve it very, very quickly. So we old people basically need to teach the young to fix stuff like this. And these are old people. This is my crew from GGOA. We need people learned and trained in everything. Because when the aliens are coming, who is going to tell them how to exit Vim? You know, somebody's got to do it. Right. It's very important to fix this stuff. This, right? For the elderly amongst us, in the old days, everything was a lot better. I see myself in like 10 years sitting on a bench with a shotgun, get off my lawn, you know, that would be my great idea. But it's true. It's actually true. I mean, in my days, you didn't have takeaway for jet fighters. Now they do. Why? Why do we do stuff like that? In my days, when somebody rang the door, it worked. Now it doesn't work if Google is down. Your doorbell is broken. Why? And who of you wants to have a LinkedIn connection with your toothbrush? We don't need shit like this. It's utterly bullshit. I mean, my grandma, she doesn't cope with stuff like this, you know? Last I was on a walk with my grandma, and she wanted to feed some birds, so she was walking like this, and she said, oh, I see birds. You know? She doesn't get it. It's way too hard. She doesn't get that people on Twitter, for 2 cases of beer, can buy shit like this. I just traded 2 cases of beer for this. And everybody's like, what? But it's actually true. He traded 2 cases of beer for this. He even made a video now on his testing. Scary shit, right? I would love to have it, by the way, but still, scary shit. But he's focused. He's going to obliterate the sun with it. Well, he isn't because he's just a hacker friend, but Twitter is scared now because the sun will be obliterated. He's focused. And focus is a big thing. You are all security people, right? Do you think focus in cybersecurity is good or bad? $1 million question. Well, somebody does this. Who says bad focus? What? 1 or 2. Who said good? More. Huh? I can argue. I think it's bad. You know why? I have a simple example. We have a hotel chain in the Netherlands, and this hotel chain had something brilliantly new. If you checked in, you didn't get an access card, but you got an email with codes, and you could connect it to their app, and then with their app and Bluetooth or NFC, you could open the door with your mobile phone. And they had programmed this so securely that they invited hackers and media on one day to test this. So we hackers were invited, we were allowed to try to break in, and then the media would film it, and it would show that it was mega, mega secure, and it was perfect. They had made one mistake, they invited me. So I came there, and there were people sitting in suits, and they were the board, and I said, okay, I'm here. What is the meaning of this test? And they said, well, we made a brilliant app, and it's super secure, and you can't break in, and blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, I understand, but what is the actual meaning of the test? And then it went a bit silent, and they started talking about the app again. And I said, for me, the test is successful when I enter the hotel room, right? And they said, yes, 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 if you can do that, the test is succeeded. I said, good. And I brought a 70-kilo fishing magnet. I put it on the lock, I wiggled, and the door opened. And I said, yes. And they said, get out. You aren't supposed to be on TV. You can't be here. And I said, why? And they said, well, this is not what we meant. And I said, no, but you're focusing. You are so much focused on this app that you forget that we hackers can walk in with either lockpicks or a magnet or whatever, and we are way too lazy to disassemble your app for 3 weeks. And we shouldn't. And then in the end they said, okay, but you still can't go on TV. So no record of this. But focus is bad. We do a lot of bug bounties with Zerocopter. We lastly had a very big Bitcoin mining thingy pool, and they had the most secure website ever, which is cool. And we put a lot of hackers on it, and we tested it. It was pretty secure. But they forgot to open the MySQL port on 3 something something, so everybody could just walk in through the back. That's what focus does to your security, so please don't focus. And I'm from the Netherlands, right? I always look at it like this, and you probably always look at it like this. Which is true, of course, but still. We also have problems, and mostly with with security experts. Do you guys have a lot of security experts on TV? Or do you get real people on TV? Nah, some people doubt it. Well, in the Netherlands, we had a big one. Some Dutch banks were targeted by heavy dust attacks, so the media said, oh, please security speakers come and enlighten the crowd. So I was invited, and they had free beer, so most of the time I'm on TV like this, you know. But while we were sitting there, my phone kept dingling, and I was like, what's the matter? And it turned out on a different news station, there was a different expert, this lady, Rian van Rijbroek. And you possibly haven't heard it, but if I say this name in the Netherlands, everybody would now leave the room. It's that bad. Nobody has ever heard of her, but she was talking for an hour about the cybersecurity issues our nation suffers at the moment. And we looked her up, like, huh, who is she? And she written a book with a politician, alarm bell number 1. And then she said she was world's best hacker with over 30 years experience. And this is a bit weird, because the security community in the Netherlands is quite small. Everybody knows each other. Never heard of this lady. So we listened to the talk, and if you have a network which is not connected, so you have computers disconnected from the network to do important tasks, how do you call this? Air-gapped, right. Not air-bagged, right? She does. She was talking about airbagged networks, which everybody should have. She also told the media that every hacker, so that includes a lot of you, has an app on their mobile phone and they can just walk up to an ATM, press enter and get money out of it. I didn't know that. I thought we needed a drill, mostly, for this. And it's not true anymore because I saw that IOActive just did some research that with NFC-specific stuff they could insert malware on ATMs. Read up if you want, but you don't need it. I mean, I travel a lot. I sometimes take pictures of ATMs, which are not that hard to hack. This one was quite easy, duct tape. What? She talked and talked and talked, all bullshit, but in the end she came with a solution. And that was the most interesting part. She suggested that all hacks could be prevented if you just join the smart blockchain. What? That was the answer, smart blockchain, to everything. How do we solve this? Smart blockchain. That was our security expert. She reminded me of Guy Goma. Do you know Guy? If you don't, look this up, please. Guy was getting a job at the BBC and he was in the waiting room because he was applying for a job as a cleaner. And then somebody ran in and said, "Is Guy here?" And Guy said, "Yes." And Guy was escorted to TV, and he had to talk, I think, for 10 minutes on Apple's mobile phone security. It is brilliant. Guy says, "Yes, yes, yes, you can download everything. Yes, yes." Brilliant. Look it up. It's utterly, utterly amazing. So we still have time for a couple of fills, right? World's best boss in the US. A company is there which does a lot with windmills, and you probably know windmills here as well, and they thought they were hacked. And that's bad, because they have a lot of stations around the US with a lot of computers, and they said, "We're hacked." So they called a security company, friends of mine, and they came in and he said, "You think you got hacked. How do you know?" And they said, "Well, we think we are hacked because we have a lot of Windows computers in every stage where there's windmills, and that's a lot. But since yesterday, all these computers are suddenly updated. And we don't update our computers because we don't have the manpower to drive there and do an update and etc. But now everything is up to date. So we think we are hacked and we want you to investigate." So they investigated and they found out, indeed, they were hacked and there was a crew on there updating everything so they didn't get hacked and mining Monero on the computers. So with that report, they came back and they said, "Well, indeed, you are hacked and they're mining Monero." Is that all they do? Yes. Perfect. Leave them. Leave them there. Because we don't have to hire any security people or any system administrators or whatever, because now our computers are up to date. Doesn't matter if they mine in the evening. Perfect. Let them live. This is actually stuff that is happening around us, people, in these years. And again, oh, what a year. And how many of you have animals? How many of you have a dog? Did they also look like this after the first weeks of Corona? Ah, so cute, right? Animals. Look. Ah. So cute, animals. They're monsters. Animals are monsters. And of course, I'm kidding a bit, but still, do you know the biggest problem for cybersecurity? Animals. It's true. Biggest cause of damage to fiber networks. 1, squirrels. It's actually an issue. And we got video of it. There's a site somewhere, I think it's in the UK, but I had to cut the video, otherwise I wouldn't be standing here for way too long. And they had a squirrel problem, and what is happening is they have hills and they have wide beam Wi-Fi systems sending data around the hills. And those big giant things for Wi-Fi. And one wasn't working, so they went and took a look. Yeah, it goes on and on. It's not looped. I'm sorry. Wild, right? Squirrels killing your infrastructure completely. What's this? Come on, you guys know this, right? Wiretap. Sorry? Wiretap. No, it's not wiretap. It's Amazon Alexa. And I hope there's video of this going out. So, hey Alexa, turn on the TV. And now when people play this, there's chances that the TV goes on. But whatever, in the US you can use this and say, hey Alexa, I'm out of milk. And then Amazon Prime delivers milk the next day, which is really cool, right? But we are forgetting, again, animals. This boy ordered 10,000 rolls of toilet paper because he completely keeps iterating, hey Alexa, I'm out of toilet paper. And I do this a lot, and people say, I don't believe you. Well, we got video.
Alexa, oh my God. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Animals kill it. Okay, so we talked a bit about whatever. I'm also supposed to do some CVD and bug bounty stuff in there, so I will help you. Does anybody here run responsible disclosure programs, CVD programs, etc.? Or good, but it's not quite popular? Should use more. Well, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna get shitty replies. A lot of people still think that all hackers look like this. It's not. There's people here in the room I know who make a lot of money. These guys make like millions, I think, at the moment. Millionaires in bug bounties and CVD. And if you want your kid to become a hacker, I'm very glad to say there's now books for babies, like this one. Arrow-based SQL injection for babies. So try to teach young, you know, very important. But we get reports in here. So we do a lot of report handling for CVD, and sometimes it's so bad. We get, you have an open port, like 3128. So I'm not guessing everybody knows, but some should. What is it? Well, no port knowledge. It's Squid. So it's your local proxy server on your local network. So people hacking themselves constantly and sending in reports. It's very funny for us, every time. And they all have, of course, the correct Metasploit Pro and Burps Pro running. This one we get a lot as well. It's a very elaborate mail which looks really cool and basically says that you have a problem, might be with SSL somewhere, etc. Please send money. Don't, you know, just look at it, verify it's bullshit, and then don't pay those guys. It's called Dragnet RD, and a lot of people do it in the Netherlands at least. Sometimes they get a little more elaborate. This one did a proof of concept, and they said to a client of us, we found your login panel. And if we can guess the correct username and password, we can get in. Really? Cool. They forgot that we even have 2FA at the client, but whatever. It was a nice try. But one of the best we got was this one. I want to warn you, you're vulnerable to CVE 216123. And we're like, ooh, this sounds legit, right? So you look it up, and it's a PHP mailer remote code execution while the client was running a Ruby on Rails app. So what do you do in cases like this? Well, we just sent this picture back, and we never heard of the researcher again. Sometimes, however, the responses of our clients are not that good, and this is not our client, but XSS, I hope you all know what it is. There was an XSS report coming in at some firm, and the guy responsible gave the best reply ever. Because he said, it looks like you're trying to add JavaScript in a text field, and you're just not supposed to do it. Brilliant answer, right? One of the best replies ever. Like this one, that's out of scope. You know, our clients also know that's out of scope. Yeah, attackers will say that as well, that it's out of scope. Nobody. And this one was, I think, last week. There was a remote code execution at Samsung, and it was reported, and it wasn't at the Samsung bug bounty program where it should go, but still, it's a remote code execution. Don't say it's out of scope, just say thank you and fix it, please. That's the most important thing you can do. So, I'm not sure how we're running, by the way. You're
fine on time.
I can go? Oh, and I'm already by the random tricks and tips and fails. Good. So, a question for you. As hackers, get into your hacker self. What's the best way to get passwords from people in the network? Sorry? Ask them. Yeah, brilliant. You already screwed up my joke. Anybody else? You're supposed to say Mimikatz, right? That stuff you know, right? You put it in the net and you can get a lot of it. But asking them is easy. And you barely did it, but what we do is we walk into an office and we just hang up a sheet. The password change sign-up sheet. And you can fill in your username, your system, your old password, and your wanted new password. People fill this in. Try this. It's so much fun. People actually do this. And then the letter underneath, come see me, Sean. You know, that's brilliant. The people who fill this in are basically the same security researchers who do all the trainings and then put everything on the internet. I mean, why? You're a security professional. Don't put this shit out there. There's even numbering on the cards where we can just identify ourselves as you and do stuff, which is fun for us, but not for you. Don't do it. And they're just so helpful in sharing. I mean, it's like you all have that colleague, right, that wants to help, but basically doesn't know how to do it. You know, like this one, you know? That's the idea I always get from people like this. Very willing to help, always creating problems. Another one I always find enjoyable, why can't my kid play with the Office iPad? I'm not sure if you run Office iPads here in Sweden, but in the Netherlands we have that separated Office iPads, work iPads, etc. Well, why? Because it's still not proven that reincarnation is actually a thing. That's why. This will take a long time to finally work. And then I did something scary. I now put on a Swedish sentence. Google Translate made me do this, so I hope it's correct. Does this say something like, please remember whatever? Oh, yes, yes. Cool, I can't pronounce it, but still. Okay, so going to my closing. Please remember, and this is, I think, the most important thing. The only thing is unbreakable if it never worked in the first place. Hackers can hack anything. If we have enough time, enough money, enough skills, and there's a lot of skill in this room. I talked to a lot of speakers, and they are really, really awesome, and they will bring you the best content ever. So please do that. If you want to do some hardware hacking, learning, etc., the best thing to go to, and I'm going to try it again in Swedish, Lopez? Lopez. A thrift store, right? This my friend Gilles bought yesterday. Those are satellite modems in a thrift store. But buy it, you know, buy it, play with it, desolder it, decap it, try to hack it, do stuff with it. It's very cheap and you can do anything with it. And then one, mostly for organizers, and I just checked, they are not sponsoring, so I should be good. But if you organize a conference and you sponsor it as a company, for instance, this beautiful conference, and this picture, by the way, is made by the beautiful stock over here. Thank you. It's a brilliant picture. If you have this conference and you sponsor it with beautiful stuff, and you put like your signs near, and there's alcohol involved, make sure those signs are actually secured to the ground. Otherwise, at the end of the evening, they will look like the toilet. Yes? So, okay. Basically, I'm done. Keep calm. Have a beautiful day. And please do go for the lightning talks. And if you want help, just find me. I can help you as well. I also have some lightning talks and stuff. But if you want to do that, or if you first time speaking, it's actually fun. So come and find me. We'll try it together. I tried to get the guy's gun, by the way, but it was stuck. If you want to reach me, this is it. And then I will close with one final video for everybody who's here and was like, yeah, it was fun, but it was a little bit too technical. I found a video, and I'm going to run when I play it, on how the internet works. Okay? So, thank you very much. Have fun. Goodbye.
Hello? Hello? Well, we didn't get very many questions from the audience, but there was a lot of people that wanted to know the name of this ATM hacking app and where you can download it.
Yeah. I get it. I will ask her if I can find her, but we went to her home once and she didn't open because she wrote a book and we wanted to get it signed, but she hates us probably for debunking her. So yeah, we don't know. But I know there's research, I think just from IOActive Out, where somebody looked a lot at NFC transactions on cards for ATMs, and apparently they did some stuff where they could inject malware into ATMs via cards. So that's really awesome research. So check it out. No more questions?
No, that was the only relevant question.
Good. The other thing was all bullshit.
I thank you for that very much, Edwin.
Cool.
I think there's no really questions for that, but it was very entertaining.
Otherwise, find me and I'll be here. And now the real technical guys can step up. So good.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.